Over the course of working with clients on their estate plans, a common question that comes up is, do I have enough life insurance? And one of the things we've learned with our years of working with clients is that a lot of people just tend to kind of pick a round number that sounds good, but this usually results in them underestimating how much coverage they need. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the 4 steps to estimate how much life insurance you need in order to make sure that your family is protected. So the first place to start is looking at any debts that you would want paid off upon your death. A lot of our clients want to make sure that the mortgage on their house gets paid off or other debts that they might have so that their surviving spouse or children don't have to worry about those debts going forward. The other thing to factor in here is any expenses for final arrangements that you might want. Okay, after you've tallied up any debts that you want to pay off, the next thing to look at is, are there any expenses that you want to fund for the future? For a lot of our clients, this is things like funding future education expenses for their children or grandchildren, or maybe you want to have funds set aside to buy a vehicle when they start driving. So total up any of those expenses that you want the life insurance to fund. The next thing to take a look at is the household expenses for your surviving dependents. The best place to start here, take a look at your current household expenses. Now, if you're currently paying a mortgage and you're planning for the mortgage to be paid off, then you can maybe subtract that from your expenses. But also be aware that there may be new expenses for your family that you're not currently paying. For example, if you're married with children, often a surviving spouse will need more help around the house. They may need more child caregiving assistance or help with maintaining the household. And then often we see expenses for things like time off from work or things like grief counseling and therapy for the family members. So if anything, you want to overestimate those household expenses a little bit, but what we tend to see is that often people underestimate here. So make sure that you pad those a little bit. So now that you've tallied up those household expenses, what we're going to do is take that number and divide it by 0.04. And that's going to tell us roughly how much life insurance you need in order to cover those household expenses. So here's how it works. In the financial planning world, there's this rough rule of thumb. If I have an investment portfolio that I invest safely and conservatively, I should be able to trust that it will reliably produce at least 4% in income returns for me. So if I'm going to take this life insurance and invest it, it'll generate 4% in income that my family can use to cover my household expenses. So to give you an example, let's say you estimate that your household expenses will be $100,000. We take $100,000 and we divide that by 0.04, then that's telling us we need $2.5 million of life insurance in order to feel confident that when we invest that money, it's going to produce at least $100,000 of income for your family. So that's a rough rule of thumb we can use to figure out how much insurance coverage we need for those household expenses. If you want peace of mind that your family will be well provided for, then it's important that we determine whether any life insurance is needed to supplement your estate. And if so, we need to make sure we determine the right amount of coverage and the right type of policy for your goals. So if you have any questions at all about how to calculate how much coverage is needed or what type of policy might be the best fit for you, give our office a call. We'd be happy to help you with those calculations and introduce you to one of our vetted insurance professionals that can help you select the best policy for your family's needs.